My name is Bill Waldock. I'm a professor of safety science here at embry-riddle Prescott, and I teach classes related to aircraft accident investigation, aviation safety, crash survivability, crash and emergency response, and a variety of other safety-related classes. I've been in embry-riddle for almost 30 years. I first came out here in August of 1982. I had just come off active duty with the U.S. Coast Guard. And my major focus is in aviation safety, primarily in the response side of it, including aircraft accident investigation, aircraft firefighting, emergency response, search and rescue, and crash survivability. I've been relating to the media for pretty close to the last 20 years. I've appeared on the Today Show. I've been quoted in many different newspapers, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Associated Press to this day. I've got a couple of folks out there that call me every time something bad happens in aviation. I've been on MSNBC, NBC, a lot of the local news networks. Anytime anything happens, they come up and they shoot some footage. So I've had quite a bit of experience in talking to the media and trying to explain the various aspects and the unique aspects, really, of what happens in a plane crash and the immediate aftermath. Everybody wants the answers right now, and to really understand what happens in a crash, you've really got to take the time to do the investigation properly, and a lot of times that's the hard part in trying to tell someone who's not really familiar with the process that you have to do. And I try to do that to the best extent I can. In the last few years, we've recently completed research in commercial airline fire issues for the FAA. We've also completed some research associated with evacuation simulations in airline passenger cabins. And we're currently in the process of developing some research for our brand new fire test facility, which we have up in our crash laboratory. What our crash laboratory does for the students is it allows them to get hands-on experience. Sometimes the best way to teach somebody how to investigate an airplane accident is to have them go investigate an airplane accident. Up in our crash lab, we have recreated a total of 11 different full-scale scenarios, 10 of which are real crashes, which we have brought here and reassembled as closely to reality as we possibly could. This gives the students, again, the opportunity to get the real aspect, the feel, the smell, the touch of an aircraft accident investigation. Unfortunately, in aviation safety, our biggest problem to this day is human error. And we say human error rather than pilot error because everybody in the aviation system can make mistakes. Pilots certainly do make mistakes, but oftentimes they're also compounded by a mistake made, for example, by an engineer, by a maintenance technician, oftentimes even by management personnel or operations personnel. Human error we have identified in perhaps 85% of all crashes, including the most recent catastrophic airline crash in Buffalo, New York with Continental Express. We have a couple of real crash sites in the area which, because of where they are and when they happened, are almost completely intact. For example, up to the north of Prescott, we have a set of mountains called the San Francisco Peaks. In 1944, B-24 training airplane, the bomber, crashed with a crew of 8. They were off course on a night navigator training mission, flew into the side of the mountain. Most of the aircraft is still up there. We've been taking classes up to that site since 1991. This is the history of restraint system crash survivability in aircraft. This was donated to us by Harry Robertson, whose name is very prominent around the embry-riddle campus. He has been very good to us over the years. For many years, he taught classes in crash survival investigation at his own company down in Phoenix that makes fuel tanks. But as part of that, the International Center for Safety Education for many years taught people how to investigate from the perspective of the survivability side. Survivability doesn't ever help us stop an accident, but what it does help us do is change the outcome. And these restraints here, literally a lot of them were test articles that over the years have been put through various types of tests in terms of how they lock and how they release. and how they hold you in position in an airplane that's crashed and try to reduce the effects of that crash, reduce the injury, reduce the likelihood of fatality. We also do classes related to aircraft firefighting. For example, we have a couple of fire suits up here. The yellow ones most people are familiar with would be a normal bunker suit that a normal structural firefighter would wear. The silver ones, these are specialized for aircraft firefighting. They have a very high radiant heat resistance. Aircraft fires put out a lot of radiant heat, and this protects you against that aspect. We can change the future, safety-wise, by educating the people today, because they're going to be the leaders of tomorrow. That's how we change the future.